The biggest opportunities in Dubai in 2026. There's plenty to win, but also plenty to lose.
In this podcast, me and Joe are going to deep dive into all the best top villa communities and master plans you should be investing in 2026, and also what to avoid.
But not only that, we're going to dive into the apartment market because that's very much overlooked and people are worried about it. But there is still plenty of money to make if you buy the right product. So stay tuned and let's get into it.
Over here, you have everything you could ever imagine in a master community.
If someone comes to me now with, for example, 5 million budget, I politely turn them away. I'm like, I can't do it.
Find an agent, first of all, who you can trust. There is a lot of agents in this market who are cowboys.
But you're talking like the entry point to that place is $1 million, right? So
Correct.
That is going to be a very expensive place. Craig, 2025 was an interesting year.
Yeah, for sure. It was an absolute great year. And I think it was a great year for so many agents in the market, and a great opportunity for a lot of investors and international investors who have spotted the opportunity that Dubai is presenting, and also Abu Dhabi is being presented. And a lot of people have capitalized and took the bull by the horns.
A lot of speculation around 2026 and 2027 is what I'm noticing. A lot of people are now citing for that sort of, we've hit that sort of peak. There's a lot of market analysts now which are saying we have reached that peak. We've got to a point now where it can't really go much further. And to some degree, I do agree. I've even made videos about that. I think now more than ever, as an investor, you have to be so selective about the products that you choose. Because if you get it wrong, I think you're going to be buying, it's like buying Bitcoin when it was like $150,000, and then it's just going to go down after that. Now, I don't think there's going to be an imminent crash. That's not what I'm saying. I just think that there's been a lot of overhype in very average products across the market.
Do you think you're dealing with that objection a lot with buyers at the moment, that, they have a fear of buying at the top of the market? Because I actually had a buyer recently who was a very wealthy guy. He lost a lot during the crash in 2008, like everybody. And he obviously built himself back up. So he's a little bit skeptical about, what's to come in the next year or the next 2 years. And I understand that. And it's quite normal, but how do you deal with that objection, or have you been getting that objection?
To some degree, I get that objection. I think now the way I've channeled the way I make my content on my YouTube channel, it's quite clear that there's a certain level of client I deal with, and there's a certain type of product that I'm more focusing on. So,
yeah, I think we quite focus on the same product, which would be, the villa communities, which we're going to come on to now.
Yeah. As I was about to say before you just interrupted me rudely, I was saying on that lower end of the market right now, the way I'm telling people is like, once you start paying over a certain amount for a 1-bedroom or a 2-bedroom, it gets unaffordable to the middle class of the market. So if someone is on a salary of 25 or 30,000 dirhams per month, their mortgages are always going to be capped. And that realistically is like the middle class of Dubai. That's like a pretty decent salary for the middle class. So if prices start exceeding that, then we get left with like, well, everything's too overpriced for the middle class to buy. Then it's got to come down at some point. So it's not like I believe there's going to just be a crash and burn. I think that will take a black swan event.
Okay.
Some sort of war, some sort of catastrophic disaster, which none of us can predict. That would cause a crash. But yeah, going on to what we were talking about, I think to mitigate that potential of loss of money now, you have to be quite selective. So let's talk about the products we're focused. Let's talk about the strategies we're implementing now for clients. We can start with renovations.
Yeah, I think renovations, and you can speak a lot more for this because I think you've got 4 projects ongoing now at the moment?
4 projects, correct.
I've done 2 projects now myself. I've done one on the Palm, and we actually had an intention to sell it, but we've broke the record on rental on Palm Jumeirah on the shoreline apartments, and we've got over 8% yield on that, which is obviously unheard of because people want to live in the prime locations. And what's happening in the prime locations, like your Palms, Jumeirah Islands, Arabian Ranches, and all these locations, is that, they're touching 20 years old, maybe even older. And it's run down. But the urban sprawl now in Dubai is getting further and further and further away from the city. And we all know how bad traffic is. Everybody wants to live in the core, in the city, where all the hustle and bustle is, and they will pay for premium properties. And that's where it sparked the opportunity in renovations. And yeah, a lot of opportunity there.
Yeah. It's an interesting market, but even still, it's harder for me to, like, the hardest part of my job is sourcing.
Okay.
If someone comes to me now with, for example, 5 million budget,
Mm.
I politely turn them away. I'm like, I can't do it.
Yeah, it's the
To
market.
be honest, I'll say to them, I can advise you. I'll charge you a consultation fee. I can advise you on what I suggest, but me and my business, Keystone, and we're not going to get involved in the project because we can't. There's not enough profit in it, you know.
Yeah.
Especially if you come to me with 5 million dirhams, which is £1 million, and I say to you, I can probably get you 8%. It's like, well, that's not that interesting. I was expecting 20. Everyone's always expecting 20%.
Yeah.
20% now, even on 10, 11 million, is pretty difficult to achieve unless you take a finance, and then your return on equity, of course, gets over 20%. But if you're on full cash, 10 to 11 million dirhams now, you know, you're lucky to get 18%, 17%.
Correct.
Unless like the market jumps again. So yeah, that is the hardest part of the sourcing. But still, you know yourself, walking into a renovated property right now, it compares to nothing else. You could give me 5 new villa communities now that you've seen marketed online, and none of them are going to compare against a renovated property.
Exactly.
Except, sorry, Eden Hills maybe, H&H.
Yeah, well, Eden Hills.
I believe that one's going to be like a drop mic product, you know.
Yeah, they're a fantastic product, and if you ever go down to their original building, what they've got now in Satwa, their sales centre, it's a fantastic product. I actually have friends who live in there. That building was only for rent; they never sold it. And I've actually been myself to Eden House on the Canal. I've been inside, I've seen it.
Yeah.
And it is fantastic. It really is something special, and the location is also special. And just for everyone that is watching what Joe was actually touching on, and the margins and in the renovation game, I think what's happened is over the last 3 years, the prices of the original properties have now risen so much that, you know, it's really, really cutting the margins tight. And anything, would you say, sub 5-6 million now is obviously, you know, not next to impossible, but not worth your time or not worth anybody's time. And when an opportunity comes around, does it get taken off the market really, really quickly? Or, you know, what's your view on it?
So realistically, between 5 and 6 million dirhams now. I mean, we know yourself. You know, you did an amazing apartment, and we also did an amazing apartment. And you know how little inquiries you get. You know, people just aren't willing to pay a premium for renovated apartments. They don't see the value in it. So then your next sort of thing is, right, well, we should do a townhouse. Okay, cool. But where can you really do a townhouse? It's got to be in a master community to get the most value, right? You've got Springs, which has been absolutely rinsed. You've got Al Reem, Arabian Ranches, where there's probably still a small bit of juice left. But even still, you know, you've got other townhouses now competing against each other on the resale market. So if an opportunity does come up, yes, number one, it does sell fast. But also, it's like, it depends on the level of work that you put in, right? Because I see townhouses, let's say, for 4.75 million. You can spend 500k on it, but 500k is not going to get you a lot of work.
No.
So now to actually bring it up to a standard to sell it for 6.5, you probably have to spend 8 or 900k. But then your margins get so slim. But the idea, what basically happens, people obviously have this debate with themselves. Well, yes, we can do it cheaper, but then they expect the high price.
Correct.
And then they complain that they can't sell it. So you get the other end of the stick is, right, yes, we'll pay more, make less margin, but we'll sell it quicker. So then you have to weigh up which one works, because the less renovated one probably will sell at some point.
Yeah.
But I've seen them listed at 30, like, for example, in Sahil or whatever, or Arabian Ranches, we've seen various standalone villas on the market for 14, but sell at 12, okay? Because it was never worth 14 to start with anyway.
Yeah.
But it's been on the market for 8 or 9 months. It's because it's been renovated for 1 million dirhams for a full standalone villa, and people just expect people aren't going to see through that bullshit.
Exactly. And I think a lot of the buyers and families that are coming into the market now, they do see through that bullshit. And the people who want to get involved in renovations now, they need to understand that the top contractors, the ones that you can trust, the ones that are going to do the job right, they've raised their prices because they know there's in such demand. They're out the door with work.
Yeah.
Like, everybody's ringing them to give them opportunities for renovations. So touching on from that and saying that, you know, apartments and sub 5 and 6 million is kind of a little bit difficult. Is that where the golden opportunity comes into villas and master communities? And would that be due to the amount of families moving here from Europe, US, Australia?
Yeah, I'd say overall to your question, yes. Like, it is going to be primarily due to the families relocating. I think a lot of people are now being pushed out of their countries. We see it all the time from UK, from Europe, from America, Canada. People are literally forced out in a way. Not like physically forced out, but forced, like, put in a position where I'm an entrepreneur, I'm a businessman, I'm generating money, I'm paying my taxes, but yet you still treat me with such disrespect that I can't be here anymore. You know, I don't want to work with a government that doesn't want to work with me. So there are a lot of people are just being forced out. And what happens is like people come to Dubai, they're like, right, I really like this place, and they, you know, there's a lot of great opportunities in off plan. All right, but some people need houses right away because they're moving. They don't want to come over here, sell all their assets, sell their businesses, rent a place, then have to move again. People want turnkey properties.
Correct.
They want to come over here, they want to walk into a place that's fully furnished, literally with the bed sheets, the covers, the throws, the pillowcases, and just be like, yeah, this is where we're going to take our suitcases off the plane, we're going to unpack and we're going to move in tomorrow. People actually want that. That is a service that people are in demand. And for that reason, yes, standalone villas are in that sort of sweet spot. And bear in mind, a lot of these high net worth families, probably worth over, let's say, £5-10 million, they appreciate quality. They might be coming from the countryside in the UK, the countryside in Ireland, the countryside in, or wherever, you know, could be, you know, the Mediterranean coast in Italy or Spain or wherever that is. So they appreciate luxury and quality. And there's a big lack of that here. A lot of things are done too fast. Everything in this country or everything in this city is just, everyone wants it tomorrow or the next day or yesterday. So everyone is doing things fast. So when you can deliver a high-end product, and people can see that, they can see you've used real parquet flooring, or you can do, there's Miele appliances in the property, there's actually decent furniture, the space has been utilised well. There is a big demand for that, and that's why people will literally pay a premium. Because people say to me, why would I pay 14 million for that when I can buy it for 8 and do it myself? Yes, that's definitely possible for the savvy person that lives here and may have lived here for 10 years. But for the person that's just moved their entire family, who values time less than that money, then they're just going to be like, yeah, we'll take it. And there's a lot of people like that here.
Yeah, and it's crazy. I actually just spoke about this yesterday. Like, for wealthy people, their number one asset and the most valuable thing is time.
Exactly.
And like 9 to 12 months for a renovation, you know, it's a long time.
It's stressful, man.
It's stressful. I've been there. You've been there. We've gone through it. You know, right down to picking what colour the tiles are going to be. Like, that blows my mind. Like, sometimes it's just a simple decision.
Exactly. And let's say, assuming, again, we're not assuming anything, but let's say the man is making the money and he's got an AI solutions business.
Yeah.
He hasn't got time to pick the colour of the flooring, or
he doesn't care.
You know, he doesn't care, like, you know, what dimension the bed needs to be to fit in the master. He just wants it done for him.
Exactly. And the 9 to 12 months, and let's say he buys an unrenovated property and he creates 5 million dirhams, 6 million dirhams equity in that current time frame. Those 12 months, he could probably make 10x that money, you know, in his own business. So that's why they want turnkey.
Exactly.
So,
Moving on.
2026. I'm just thinking, what year are we in? 2026. What are the opportunities that you see in 2026? And all of your new clients that are coming through the door, what are you advising?
So, I mean, this is an interesting time in the market. As we both know, we're focusing on a similar type of product.
Correct.
There's a lot of value in, again, master communities, which I keep stressing to people, and I'll keep talking about it even if people get bored hearing about it. That's where the money is made. We literally renovate properties in master communities to help people make money. We've both, you know, sold properties in luxury destinations, like you on the Palm Jebel Ali, me on Hudriyat Island, you know, like premium waterfront locations with a huge future. But now it's about thinking, all right, so we've seen the launch of Palm Jebel Ali, we've seen Hudriyat Island, we've seen Emaar Oasis. So all of these products have launched. They're all going to be fantastic. They're still not going to be ready for a few years. So it's like, all right, well, where should someone put their money in? Are they late to the party in these communities? How would they leverage, you know, the fact that Oasis has been launched since the end of 2023? So these are the questions we need to answer as consultants now. I think, you know, new launches, I mean, an exciting one is obviously JG2. You're a big fan of this project?
I'm a big fan of the project, yeah. I just think the
Jumeirah Golf Estates 2, by the way, for anyone watching. So it's a sort of extension of the very successful Jumeirah Golf Estates 1.
Correct, yeah. And I think it's a flagship European family destination right now. And when you go there, you just feel at home, you know. And obviously you've got 2 PGA Championship golf courses. Like yesterday I was driving through and I seen Tommy Fleetwood and Rory McIlroy on a cart just going through. Like, just
no one bothering him.
No one bothering him.
No one taking pictures of him.
No, just playing golf, and that was it. So I mean, the extension of that now is, you know, with JGE right now, you don't really have that much. You've got the Crafty Fox, you've got the golf course, you've got the golf club, you've got a little shopping mall, the Giant, but apart from that, there's not really much there except for that. But it is a beautiful villa community. It's everything that anyone really needs. But the extension now is offering so much. I mean, you've got a 5,000-seater tennis stadium. You've got an equestrian stables with riding trails throughout the community. You've got a golf course. You've got a Mandarin Oriental hotel. You've got a financial district. So you've got so much happening within the community, and I just feel like it's when they merge, you know, it's not a short-term project. It's like, you know, probably like 10 to 12 to 15 years until it's fully finished. But it will be a serious location and destination for families.
Yeah. So, and it's so interesting for someone watching this because, would you agree? What's happening in Dubai now? It's like, it's not just like little pockets of land are becoming like a little small town. It's like a little micro city. Micro cities are being built within the city, you know? It's like, if we look at, let's say, two locations, JBC and Jumeirah Golf Estates, right?
Mm-hmm.
They're two different complete economies. They operate in different ways. You know, they're structured in different ways. Like, it's like they're not connected in any way.
Yeah.
You know? And it's hard for someone who's not, you know, let's say you've got like the northwest of England, it all kind of falls under one category, right? You know, the northeast of England, if something happens over there, generally, you know, it all kind of happens in one go to that whole sort of destination, right? But you imagine like a small pocket of land is its own sort of northwest England, you know? It's what happens there is different to what happens everywhere else, right?
Correct.
Not necessarily saying if there was a massive market crash, it wouldn't be affected and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But if we see apartments, which we have been seeing in JBC, sort of like get to a point now where there's a lot of them on the market and sort of like rents have plateaued a little bit. I mean, there's still tons of activity there. There's nearly 100,000 residents in bloody JBC. But it's like a completely different market to Jumeirah Golf Estates now, where we're constantly seeing records being broke. We're seeing some of the best homes that have been renovated in the entire world.
Amazing.
In that community, right?
Golf course back in.
But Jumeirah Golf Estates too is setting another level.
Yeah.
Like,
and
it's a city.
Yeah, and like a lot of Europeans and other parts of the world they're not really familiar with the off-plan concept. So like trying to explain to them is that like, okay, a villa in JG back in the golf course is like, you know, 4,000, 4,500, 5,000, 5,500 dirhams a square foot, backing onto like a decent location with a decent plot. However, like in JG2, you can almost be buying the exact same product, obviously newer product in a better community. I wouldn't say better community, but better facilities at like 2,000 dirhams a square foot. And like that presents a golden opportunity. Yes, you're going to have to sit on it for like, you know, 3 to 4 years before your villa hands over, but it's like, it's basically buying money.
So it's like when we're explaining the off-plan market, I mean, obviously it's heavily marketed and it's heavily pushed in this market. It's heavily pushed in Dubai to a point where you almost think a lot of the time it kind of feels a bit like superficial, a bit unrealistic.
Correct.
Especially when we see singular buildings in certain like locations of the UAE or like wherever it is that we're sort of selling them. It's like, God, this building's got 3 tennis courts, it's got 9 saunas, it's got 32 pools, it's got 8 cinema rooms. It's like, Jesus Christ, like when is it going to stop? But when you're buying into like a Jumeirah Golf Estates too, where, you know, you just explained it's got the mini city extension, you've got Oasis, there's going to be one of Emar's biggest malls. You've got, I think they said 3 schools. That's what they're going to put. 3 international schools within there. You know, you've already got the green light, you've got the green parks, cycle park. You're going to have everything you need. Then you've got Hudriyat Island. Unbelievable product. Again, 3 schools, malls, like a self-contained mini city. So that's the future, right?
Yeah, well, Modon actually, their whole motto is a city within a city concept. And like when you buy into these, like when I think of my master community back home, it's called not a master community, it's just your neighborhood.
The
ghetto, yeah. All we had was a green electricity box and we used to play on that, get up and down off the electricity box.
And used to like burn the wheelie bins, set them on fire and
literally,
all that.
But like over here, you have everything you could ever imagine in a master community. And that's why families are exactly wanting to invest in master communities. And that's why no matter where you invest in a villa community or a master community that has these facilities and these amenities in 2026, you're going to make.
So that's quite clear, right? We're basically saying that's where you should put your money, but not everyone grabs that concept. So it's kind of good that we spoke so passionately about it, because I mean, we've got, you know, you've got direct from the developer what will come up. You've got Oasis. Hudriyat Island will probably release more stock. Definitely JGE too, because that's only just started the sort of main releases. If you want to go in the resale market, which we do have access to some of the best stock, you've got Acres by Morass. You've got the Haven project by Aldar. You've got Athlon by Aldar. You've also got the Wilds by Aldar. They're all in a similar location.
Nadal Gardens.
Nadal Sheba Gardens.
Very close to downtown. I really like that project.
Yeah.
It's probably one of the best and most greenest projects in a 15-minute drive from downtown.
Yes.
Like max. So perfect for people who are working in DIFC, or DIFC, Business Bay, or downtown.
Yeah.
And maybe they have their offices there. It's perfect. And like I said, if you've seen the designs and the renders of those villas, it's like,
They are brilliant.
it's not something you've seen.
It's a unique product.
It is.
I saw a video of the Nadal Sheba Gardens one that just handed over, or it's about to hand over, and it's got this beautiful glass facade, and it's designed amazing. It's a really aesthetic house.
It is, yeah.
But like, so when someone says to me, "All right, Joe, why don't I just buy something in the off-plan market?" Like, why would someone not just buy like a brand new house in a master community, let's say Talal Al Gaf? Why would I not just buy a Harmony when I could? Why would I buy like an Arabian Ranches for more money and more size over a Harmony? That's a good question that I get. So when I have to explain that, I'll tell you what happens, right? The reason why I can sell a 3,500 square foot house for 14 million over selling a house like Harmony, which is 4,000 square foot for say 12. The biggest difference is, well, first of all, as I say, highly renovated, and also the land. You don't get as much land anymore. And land, people take price per square foot off the built up area, as they should, but people forget that land is the most valuable thing here. Nobody, like, not saying nobody, people do, but you've got to take into consideration the price per square foot on the plot as well.
Is that where Emaar Oasis presents a golden opportunity for investors?
Well, Emaar Oasis, we've rightfully pointed out, they have really, I mean, take their Arabian Ranches 3, right? Where they're making villas which were 1,700 square foot for a 3-bedroom. It was like a shoebox. Insane. You couldn't even you could literally you put a double bed in, you don't even have space to put your bedside tables.
Yeah.
But now they built Oasis where the minimum built up area is 7,000 in the new launch?
Yeah.
On plot size of 8,000. It's going to be mega homes.
Yeah.
That's where the big opportunity comes there, right?
Yeah, I mean, the best thing about Emaar Oasis is obviously they're calling it the new Emirates Hills, and Emirates Hills is known for it's a big, extravagant built-up area, big, extravagant plots. Backing onto obviously it's a golf course there, but now you've got the lagoon and Emaar Oasis. The best thing about Emaar Oasis is obviously you're buying in at a really good price per square foot.
Yeah,
you've got basements which are they're
rare.
They're a rare commodity in Dubai. It's such a good product. You've got open basements and you've also got closed basements. So you've got so many things you can do there. You can got games rooms, you could put a gym, you could put a sauna, you could put a spa, you could do anything there. And then above all that is the plot sizes. The plot sizes are mega.
Yeah.
If take Palmyra, for example, you're talking the minimum plot sizes are 8,000 square foot and they range up to 11,500 square foot for a 4-bed.
Yeah.
It's insane. It's
and
really,
one thing,
really good.
One thing to know as well, it's you've got an asset that, I take an apartment building, and I'm not putting people off apartments here, but if you take an apartment building, as that ages, it decreases in value just naturally. And it's, don't get me wrong, there are plenty of buildings where the upkeep is great, especially when we see Dorchester Collections, Omniat's products, they'll be phenomenal forever. But there are certain buildings that are just not going to be phenomenal forever. They just go down.
Yeah.
But villas, you could continually add value to them. We're taking 20-year-old, 25-year-old villas that look like crap and adding value to them. So even if you buy your villa, it doesn't top out at the price. Like if the villa's, in Oasis, non-renovated, topped out at 3,000 dirhams per square foot, if you just went and maybe you ripped out the whole thing and went again and built it with a beautiful island with marble all throughout, you could then hit the 4,000 dirhams. So you can basically, what I'm saying is add value to the actual property as well.
I totally agree with you there. And touching on what you just said there in terms of apartments. So we both agree that we're pushing our investors, and not even pushing our investors, we're telling them exactly where to put their money because they're going to make money on their investments, and that is villa communities, master plans. In regards to apartments, and like you said, only some things make sense. What's your thoughts on that, first of all, and then what if someone came to you and said, right, Joe, look, I know you're only dealing with clients with 10 million dirhams plus, and look, I don't want a villa. What sort of projects are you thinking of? What I always tell them is buy something that's unique, and buy something that is, going to appreciate in value. And by the way, I personally bought an apartment in JVC you've sold apartments in JVC. I've sold apartments in JVC. It's a hate it or love it product, you know. It's a wild area. I wouldn't like to live there personally, but it's great for investing because, you know, you get some good yields. You will always be able to rent it out. And yes, is there possibly an oversupply coming of apartments there? And you know, that's kind of an area that, you know, it's a little bit of a grey zone right now.
Yeah.
So obviously, what would you advise your clients on when it comes to?
You went to ask me a question, then you answered it, and then, then you asked me it again.
Sorry, maybe I should ask you.
I forgot the question. Like you asked me a question, but then you answered it, and then you spiraled off, and then you asked me another question. So
the question is, where do you advise your clients for apartments if they did want apartments on a 10 million dirham or more budget?
Well, we both explored the Al Wasl Canal, the Jumeirah Canal, which is going up to the Bulgari sort of Jumeirah Bay Island. That place I'm very, very bullish on. I think
fantastic product.
Yeah, very, very phenomenal product. It's like on the back end of Business Bay, so you remove yourself away from that noise and distraction, and you've got this like ultra luxury destination where we see, you know, the Four Seasons, Mr. C residences. You've got the rings. You've got what's that one called? That square one called again?
One Canal.
No. It's the one just before it. It's gone. They built on
Maraba Vale.
Maraba Vale.
Yeah.
That'll be an interesting product.
Yeah.
So basically, along that strip, you've got like everything starts from like 6 million at least.
Yeah.
Or maybe you get occasionally a one bed for 3 or 4. But you're talking like the entry point to that place is $1 million, right? So
correct.
That is going to be a very expensive place, and because of that reason, and you know, businesses opening up down there, they're not going to open up no riffraff. It's going to be high end residences. It's going to be, you know, high end bars, high end restaurants. So that, first of all, that canal is very much something that I've got my eye on. Then obviously when we explored the new peninsula, that sort of destination close by to.
Well, that's basically at the end of the canal. It's just one.
Yeah. So like that strip of Jumeirah Beach, that sort of strip leading into that canal is really going to be invaluable. Like it's going to go a lot. Like it's going to go far. And it's not too far away. Like it's not like you know, when we talk about Maritime City or Dubai Islands, which might be a 10-year project. This is going to be in the next 2 to 3 years that this is going to really skyrocket. Yeah. Especially when we see, you know, these like. You know, once like the rings hands over, you know, once we see Maraba Vale hand over, once we see Eden House on the park and the canal all complete, that's going to be an amazing area.
Yeah, and just like touching on that, on the peninsula, you've got the Rosewood Hotel coming, the Amman Hotel coming. They're all going to have LVMH retail shops along the bottom. Like those 2 hotels are 2 of the biggest hospitality brands in the world, and with that LVMH retail on the bottom, it's just going to drive demand for, you know, wealthy people wanting to live in that location.
What do you think it says about Dubai, that? Because I mean, we go from like we go from, you know, like sort of standard products in the market, then we go sort of branded residences, but now we've gone past like, you know, the Mercedes-Benz Tower, we've gone past the sort of Bugatti building. Now we're going like ultra luxury, but now that's becoming quite a commonality and everything's selling out. What does that say about Dubai?
One thing that comes to my mind is that people are talking about, is the market going to crash? Is the market going to crash? And we're all human. Nobody knows. Okay.
Yeah.
We can only go off the data and what's in front of us. Buyer sentiment is still very, very strong. And touching on what you said there, developers and big brands from worldwide locations wouldn't be putting their money here if there wasn't going to be buyers. So if these projects are constantly selling out, but that means that there's ultra wealthy people moving here.
Yeah.
So, in my opinion, it tells me that, one, we're not going to see a market crash. Yes, we'll probably see it slow down, but the buyer sentiment is still so strong. And like every other week, we'll hear like this new hospitality brand is setting up.
I know. And this record just got broken. But going back to your question, though, about the apartments, and again, I think if we have to differentiate the two, yes, we do have a lot of high net worth families moving over here. But in a villa, you pretty much have to do everything yourself. You get a nanny and all that. But there is equally as many people, I would say equally, I'd say there's more who like the villas. But in a luxury, let's say One Palm, you've got the valet service, you've got the you know, because if you take a large penthouse style apartment with the glass overlooking the city, with the ocean, and you've got this really swag pad, you know, you've got your cinema room, you take someone to there in the private elevator, that hits different.
Yeah.
Because you have that, and then you have the Emaar Oasis, two different products. I love that thought, you know, like it's like a Batman cave. You're going up,
Bachelor in a family.
come on, you know, you're going up in the, and then also, you know, you've got your concierge services, you've got your people who are going to look after you like 24/7. You know, you've got your spa facilities, your cryotherapy facilities, you've got you know, your high-end gym facilities. Everything is available in those apartments. So if I was going to push people towards them, you want to look for like luxury branded, highly serviceable residences. So we take the Six Senses in the marina. I don't really love like the positioning of the building.
Location is...
Yeah, it's not so great. However, I think you disregard the location because the views aren't going to be anything spectacular because you are surrounded by buildings.
You're buying the brand.
But you're buying the brand, you know. If you look at how many amenities are in the building, you've got 4 floors of amenities. You've got, you know, restaurants, bars, gym service, cryo services. You've got massage facilities. You've got everything. So it's about... It's not like when I spoke before, it's not by low-end residences with a lot of amenities generally means the amenities are going to be crap. If you're buying into like a high-end branded residences from a big or like from a big name who are trying to make their mark in the industry, like a Six Senses, who've had an amazing success on the Palm.
It looks phenomenal.
That's where I want to be putting my money if I'm buying apartments. Because I personally, like, I love my... I live in a townhouse, right? I've got my garden, I like my barbecue. But also, I like the thought of going up 72 floors, walking into my apartment, seeing the skyline, opening my, you know, my glass walk-in wardrobe with the LED strip lights. That also excites me. I don't have that, but like, that's like the old alter ego, Joe, you know, like the, oh God, I'd love a penthouse, you know?
feel on top of the world.
Yeah, you know?
But people, those are the people who are buying that, you know.
There's plenty of them people.
Super successful entrepreneurs, bachelors who are, you know, moving to Dubai, enjoying the Dubai lifestyle. We all know what the Dubai lifestyle is like. And those are the people that are buying that. I'm touching on the canal. Eden House to Park, you know, the 3-bed I sold in there, I think I sold it at 9.71.
Yeah.
And like, that had all the facilities, all the amenities, like, that you've just mentioned.
Yeah.
And like, that's what these people are wanting to buy. And like you were touching on, you know, what does it say about the market? You know, it's not going to crash. It can't crash because if these projects are constantly selling out, you know, it's just perfect, you know.
No, I agree totally. Now, obviously, we've got a few minutes left on the podcast, so I wanted to talk on about things to watch out for before we leave. Like, obviously, we've both seen, you know, a lot of horror stories in the market. We've seen things that have gone wrong for investors. I'll ask you with the opening, like, what would you say the sort of one thing to watch out for from an investment point of view moving into 2026 is?
I suppose I have a list as long as my arm. But
give me one.
Say the first thing would be find an agent, first of all, who you can trust, because there is a lot of agents in this market who are cowboys, and you know that, and I know that, and there's constantly scams going around the market. But there'll be agents out there that will just sell you something for the sake of selling it to you.
Yeah,
and you need to really, really make sure that you're picking the right agent. And like, I think me and you building our brand online and creating that trust with people before they even reach out to us is so important. But like, I was dealing with an agent the other day, and he had a super wealthy client. And I'll be honest, the agent really, really didn't know what he was doing. And I'm asking myself, like, how do you end up with this client? How are you dealing with this guy? And they don't know how to service them correctly. And I think that's a very, very important thing.
Yeah, and I mean, there's a lot of wealthy individuals that come to the market. You know, if someone comes to me with 50 million, I'm like, how do you not know anyone in Dubai? But there's a lot of those people who don't know anyone in Dubai. You know, when I did my most recent sale in Hudriyat for over 42 million dirhams, the client, we started speaking on Zoom. You could see he built his trust through me, through the videos that I was making, you know, and the next few days I presented him with a great opportunity. We met, I met his family, we got to know each other, we built a relationship, and he's already given me referrals. And, you know, that's like, because, you know, I'm not sitting here trying to push a certain agenda on anyone. I'm not trying to lie to people to get sales. I don't put myself in that position. I actually got a comment on my YouTube video this morning, and it was saying like, typical Dubai broker, this is what I advise. So basically what he said was, I advise going and speaking to at least 10 brokers, getting as much information. You basically squeeze every broker you can, and then go directly to the developer and negotiate the best price. And that's how you should win in the market. And I said respectfully, I bit my tongue a little bit at that. I don't usually rise up to these comments, but I respectfully said, Yeah, you can do that, but the shelf life of a developer's agent is probably 6 to 12 months. So when the market turns, when you need to rent out your property, when you want to resell your property, when something goes wrong and you're looking for some advice and someone to turn to, guess what? That agent probably isn't even in Dubai anymore.
Yeah.
So I was like, cool. If you think that, like I said, I'm respectful. You were never going to. You are the exact type of person that we're never going to work with each other.
Exactly.
And I was like, you absolute imbecile. And to be honest, there are a lot of people that will treat like that. So very fair point to what you said. And I think that is definitely one of the main things that you need to look out for. And I think from my end, I would say, like, study the product. Like, once you've chose the right person, and this should come with choosing the right person, make sure you study the right project. How many times, like, if we go to certain parts of Nadal Sheba, because we both go cycling there in the morning, look how many villas back onto the ugliest power lines. It's like they are so bad position.
These villas are like, what, £2 million plus?
£2 million plus. So imagine, right, you've waited for 4 years because those power lines didn't get erected up like, recently. They've been there for a very long time. So anyone who sold you that might have known. From the master plan, the brochures, it would have looked like, a perfect sunset with a nice plane flying through the sky and just
Birds flying through.
Yeah, like and then the jungle, because we have jungles and waterfalls. And, like all this amazing stuff that we do, mountains, but we don't have that, right? Let's be honest. You're basically backing onto like a 5G antenna, power lines. And if
I actually lost a deal. I actually lost a deal over that.
I bet you did.
I lost a deal.
I'm sure you did.
And do you know how I lost it?
Go on.
We were working on it. It was, what was it? It was 30 million. It was a District 1 West, 6-bed on the lagoon. And the husband was ready to buy it because he worked in the IFC. It was 5 minutes to 10 minutes drive from his office. It was absolutely perfect. Ready to sign the contract. The contract was sent out 3 times, and all of a sudden, I'm sorry, we can't buy the villa. I'm like, why? My missus is very health conscious, and I'm like, okay. And she's like, yeah, her friends just told her we can't live within 100 meters or 200 meters of the antenna cables because radioactivity and cancer and this and blah blah blah. And to be honest with you, I'm very health conscious as well, so I understood where they were coming from, but it's affecting people from rebuying in communities. And that's exactly what brings us back to making sure you're studying the right product.
Yeah, and I don't even think that we have to go further than that. Like, it's first of all, finding the right person who can, because like what I just said about buying in the wrong type of location, that list could expand. Buying from the wrong developer, but buying the wrong product from, again, I could spin off here, but buying the wrong product from the right developer. Address Hillcrest by Emaar, they've risen in value about 10%. Since 2023.
Such a strange product.
Such a strange product. It launched way too high for its time. It launched at the price per square foot of today's prices 2 years ago. And now it's just caught up. So people, if you look on the transactions on DXB Interact Property Monitor, people who bought for 23 have sold for 23.5, 24 million. But that's £5 million for 8%.
Wow.
It's insane. So again, but these are all the things you can mitigate if you work with the right person. So we can leave that one there. Unless you've got anything else to add.
The last thing I would add is what you've just said is the price per square foot, and like what that agent should be doing for you is, if you're buying, the whole idea of buying into an off-plan project is making sure you're buying at, 15, 20, 25, 30, whatever percentage may be of the current surrounding projects. And that agent should be able to sit down with you and go, we're buying into this because of X. It's currently trading at 1,000 dirhams a square foot. We're going to exit at 2,000 dirhams a square foot because this community is trading at that price.
100%.
And that should all be clear from the get-go. And the thing is, like I said, the another common thing you should be avoiding is the price per square foot, and make sure you're buying in the right entry point.
Yeah.
So, Joe.
We'll leave that one there, Craigie.
That one there was a pleasure.
Stay tuned for the Joe and Craig podcast. Or the
Craig and Joe and Craig.
Yeah, the Craig and Joe and Craig. The Irish and the English.
Yeah.
All right.
We should make a common trend of this, should we?
Yeah, I'm sure people will like it. We'll see how they react in the comments.
Let's see.
An Irish guy walks into a bar with an Englishman sitting there. We'll see how it ends. Craig, thank you very much.
Thank you.
See you.